Hello friends, Duncan here. I'm currently located in beautiful Magnolia Cemetery in Charleston, South Carolina. Charleston Harbor is not too far off my left-hand side here, and actually I can see the Ravenel Bridge from this location. But the reason that we're here today has everything to do with these 21 souls that are interred in this location. Because these 21 people were the first, second, and the third crews to perish on the Confederate States submarine, the HL Hunley. It's a very interesting story that I would like to go through in this short video to talk about the lives of these people, and especially the 8 people that are interred here on the left-hand side. The year was 1861, and the United States was embroiled in a bitter civil war, tearing the nation apart. Charleston, with its strategic location and deepwater port, was a vital hub for the Confederate forces. Realizing the significance of this stronghold, the Union Navy implemented a decisive measure to cripple the Confederacy's maritime capabilities, a naval blockade. Union warships, their cannons at the ready, assembled just beyond the harbor, their imposing presence a stark warning to any vessel seeking to trade with Charleston. The blockade aimed to isolate the city, choking off its vital supply lines and crippling its ability to sustain its forces. The citizens of Charleston, once accustomed to the bustling activity of ships arriving and departing, found their harbor eerily silent. The absence of trading vessels meant scarcity, and desperation began to settle in. Goods once taken for granted became rare and precious commodities. The blockade runners, daring individuals who risked everything to defy the Union blockade, became the city's lifeline. Swift, sleek ships slipped through the darkness of night, carrying vital supplies and much-needed provisions. These blockade runners navigated treacherous waters and evaded Union warships lurking in the distance, their hearts pounding with each passing mile. But the Union Navy was relentless. Their ships patrolled the coastline, using every means at their disposal to identify and intercept any vessel trying to breach the blockade. Their powerful cannons thundered, sending warning shots or delivering devastating blows to those who dared to challenge their authority. So these desperate times required a different approach. They required a secret weapon. In the coastal city of New Orleans, Louisiana, during the early years of the American Civil War, a group of determined individuals gathered in a dimly lit room, their eyes fixed on a small table adorned with sketches and blueprints. Among them was Horace Hunley, an ambitious and innovative engineer and investor who dreamed of turning the tides of the war with a groundbreaking invention. Hunley had long been fascinated by the possibilities of underwater warfare, convinced that a vessel capable of stealthily navigating beneath the surface could disrupt the Union Navy's blockade and change the course of the conflict. He had assembled a team of like-minded individuals, including James McClintock, driven by a shared vision of Southern ingenuity and resilience. Together, they toiled away in secrecy, pouring their hearts and souls into the creation, and developed 2 prototypes before their final creation. The result was an audacious design, an ironclad submarine unlike anything the world had seen before. Its sleek, cylindrical shape was fitted with 2 hatches, a primitive propeller, and an intricate system of ballast tanks and a small porthole for viewing the outside world. The submarine also had many innovations such as adjustable diving planes, keel weights that could be jettisoned, and a fresh air ventilation system when on the surface. It is said the innovations on the submarine were 50 years ahead of its time. Later dubbed the HL Hunley in honor of its creator, the submarine was both a testament to the Confederacy's resourcefulness and a symbol of its desperation. Constructed with iron plates from discarded steam engine parts salvaged from a wrecked paddle steamer, the vessel embodied the spirit of the South, making the most of the limited resources in the face of adversity. During early tests in Mobile Bay, the submarine encountered numerous challenges: leaks, navigation difficulties, and even an accidental sinking. Despite the setbacks, Hunley's determination remained unyielding, and he pushed his team to overcome each obstacle, learning valuable lessons along the way. Given the challenges and the state of the naval blockade, the decision was made by the Confederate Army to ship the submarine from Mobile to Charleston, South Carolina. After testing different ways to deliver explosive charges, a spar was finally installed on the front of the submarine that would be rammed into the wooden hull of the enemy ship and then remotely detonated by the HL Hunley submarine crew. Conditions were unbearable inside the cramped submarine. 8 men sat on a wooden bench, shoulder to shoulder, inside the 48 by 42-inch steel vessel, using only a hand crank to propel the vessel, while the commander steered the vessel and gave commands to dive or surface or adjust the ballast tanks. It was a small, confined space with little ventilation and oxygen when underway. The sub required huge physical effort by the courageous sailors. It is here in Charleston, during training and missions, that 13 brave souls perished. First, on August 29, 1863, 3 men survived the sinking, but 5 men perished. Then, during a practice dive on October 16, 1863, an additional 8 men perished, including the captain, Horace L. Hunley himself, who was in command of the submarine. Finally, in 1863, after months of perseverance, despite the deadly reputation of the Confederate secret weapon, the Hunley was ready for its moment of truth. Under the cover of darkness, the Confederate crew under the command of Lieutenant George Dixon, armed with steadfast determination, boarded their extraordinary steel vessel. Guided by a single dim lantern, they descended into the murky waters off Charleston Harbor from an area known as Battery Marshall near Breach Inlet, South Carolina, leaving behind a nation teetering on the brink of destruction. The tides and currents in the area were treacherous, but offered a chance of a surprise attack. The mission was perilous, fraught with uncertainty. The crew, cramped in the small confines of the submarine, felt the weight of history upon their shoulders. They navigated cautiously through the water, the hum of the propeller providing a constant reminder of the danger that was ahead. It was a daring game of cat and mouse as they sought to outmaneuver the mighty Union blockade hidden beneath the waves. Their target was the USS Housatonic, a Union warship stationed near the harbor entrance. As the submarine approached, the Hunley unleashed its secret weapon, a primitive torpedo attached to a long spar on its bow. With resolute determination, they struck their mark, piercing the Housatonic's hull and causing a violent explosion. The Confederate crew watched in awe as their daring plan unfolded before their eyes, resulting in 5 Union casualties. Many of the sailors on board the Housatonic were able to cling to the rigging due to the relatively shallow waters where the Union warship sank. However, the moment of triumph was short-lived. In the aftermath of the explosion, disaster struck once again. The Hunley disappeared after the blast and never to be seen again by the Confederates at Battery Marshall on Breach Inlet. Though their mission was a success, the Hunley's sinking marked the end of an era and the untimely demise of Lieutenant Dixon and his courageous crew. But their legacy endured, forever etched in history as pioneers of underwater warfare. The submarine disappeared, but its brave sailors and its legend lived on for years as an example of unselfish sacrifice in the face of certain danger. In the year 2000, a team of dedicated individuals embarked on an extraordinary mission that would capture the imagination of history enthusiasts around the world. Their objective was nothing short of remarkable: to recover the fabled Confederate submarine, the HL Hunley, lost in the waters during the American Civil War. For over a century, the Hunley had remained shrouded in mystery, its final resting place concealed beneath the depths of the ocean. However, armed with a profound curiosity and a burning desire to uncover the secrets of the past, a team of archaeologists, historians, and divers assembled on the shores of Charleston, South Carolina, ready to embark on a journey through time. Years of meticulous research research had led them to this moment. They had pored over historical documents, studied eyewitness accounts, and analyzed every available piece of information, piecing together the puzzle that would ultimately guide their search. Armed with cutting-edge technology and fueled by an unwavering passion, they set sail to the site where the HL Hunley was believed to lie. As they ventured into the unknown, the team was acutely aware of the challenges that lay ahead. The dark, unforgiving depths of the ocean had held the remains of a vessel that had achieved remarkable feats during its brief but storied existence. The Hunley had become the first submarine in history to sink an enemy ship, but it had paid heavy price for its triumph. On that ill-fated night in 1864, the submarine and its crew had vanished without a trace. Finally, their patience and perseverance was rewarded. They had found it, the HL Hunley, resting silently on the ocean floor, waiting to be brought back to the surface. With caution and reverence, the team began the intricate process of recovering the submarine. Every movement was executed with meticulous care, for the fragile vessel held memories and stories of the brave souls who had manned its depths. Piece by piece, the Hunley was carefully lifted from its watery tomb, emerging into the light of day for the first time in over a century. The recovery of the HL Hunley was a moment of triumph. As the submarine breached the surface, the world held its breath, captivated by this extraordinary feat. The vessel, though weathered by time and the ravages of the deep, seemed to exude a sense of history and resilience. In the aftermath of the recovery, a new chapter of the story of HL Hunley unfolded. The team meticulously documented and preserved every artifact found within its confines, revealing a treasure trove of historical significance. Personal effects, equipment, and remnants of the crew's last moments aboard the submarine shed light on the day-to-day life of those who had sailed this innovative vessel. The recovery of the HL Hunley not only provided closure for families of the lost crew, but also offered invaluable insight into the courage, innovation, and sacrifice that defined an era. It's a mystery still today of how this crew of these 8 individuals died on the night of the attack against the Housatonic. There's a lot of different theories behind it. One theory is the submarine actually might have been hit by another ship, might have been run over in essence. However, there's no sign of damage to the submarine. Another theory is that maybe they ran out of oxygen inside the small cramped submarine while they were out there. And there's even another theory that the shock impact when the explosives went off that sank the Housatonic actually created a pressure wave inside the submarine. So all 8 of these individuals perished during that attack, and the submarine actually lay on the bottom of Charleston Harbor out here for many, many years. Inside that submarine, they found the remains of these 8 brave souls that went into that cramped, hand-cranked submarine to go out to make that first successful blast and to sink the Housatonic. So this is a story about these 8 souls, but also the story of all 21 of the crew members, the first, the second, and the third sinkings of the Confederate submarine, the HL Hunley.